Do you guys see my screen?
Coming?
Not yet. Now.
No.
Yes, I can see it.
There.
Me too, I can
Right.
see, yep.
It should just take some time to load in some computers. All right,
Yes.
so thanks and welcome to this virtual roundtable blockchain. First of all, thanks to all our speakers who accepted to come and share with us their insights and their solutions. So we have with us Eduardo Bonizzoni from DigiBit Italy as a technical lead. We have Mohtar Ben Ali from CM Consulting Algeria. We have Courtney Guimaraes from Brazil. He's Chief Scientist and Disruption Officer in BRQ Digital Solutions. We have with us also Dr. Ralph Moog from Business Technologist and CEO from IT by Cloud from Germany, and special guest also Jean-Marie Delon from Cargill. He is a sustainability and program manager. So here is the agenda. It's gonna be a tight agenda that we're gonna try to achieve in 1.5 hours. I will start with some basics of blockchain. It's not gonna be a blockchain course, so we'll just try to keep everybody on track and updated. Explain some concepts. Then I will hand over to Courtney from Brazil, who's gonna deliver to us some insights. So to me, I'm a big follower and fan of Courtney. He does a lot in technology, in disruption, in blockchain. Then we will hand over to Jean-Marie from our esteemed customer Cargill. So I had the chance to meet with Jean-Marie in Ivory Coast. So he's managing sustainability programs, and he's playing a big role in the sustainability and digitalization. We would like to hear from him what he thinks about all these disruptive technologies, and especially blockchain. And then we will hand over to our partners, so CM Consulting, DigiBit, and IT by Cloud, to showcase their solutions. Actually, they have built and connected blockchain solutions with their SAP ERP solutions for SMBs, SAP Business One and SAP by Design. So we're gonna have a quick look and overview live of their solutions. And then we're gonna do a roundtable, some questions to discuss with our speakers about these solutions, the added value, and so on. And hopefully we're gonna have some time left for the Q&A. So I would kindly ask all of you if you could mute yourselves, so not to disrupt the others. So I'm gonna start with the basics. Actually, it's very important to understand that Bitcoin is not blockchain. That's the first confusion all of us, me included in these people, because maybe Bitcoin has been it had a bad reputation, you know, that people use it for some transactions that's like you know, the dark web, the terrorism, and so on. So this is not our topic today. So what we need to know is that Bitcoin is a digital coin. So it's money, which is digital. That's the thing we need to focus on today. And today we're not gonna talk about Bitcoin, but we're gonna talk about blockchain. So the blockchain is the digital technology. So it's a technology actually that enables moving the digital assets from one individual to another. And Bitcoin is an application to the blockchain, which means that blockchain supports Bitcoin into moving money. So in terms of transactions. Now, let's take some real life scenarios. So you own a land or a farm or a house or a car, and let's say you want to buy or sell some of your assets. So I want to buy a land, I want to sell my car, anyways. So there needs to be a central authority, right? And this central authority, it proves the ownership of the asset. So if I want to sell, for example, this piece of nice green land, I need to go together with the buyer. So we need to go to the authority to verify if I am really the owner. So we need to provide some papers, document the transaction, so the land is sold to the other party, right? So let's say, let's imagine that we're gonna record this transaction. Let's call it a transaction in a shared electronic ledger, and which is owned by nobody. So there is no owner of this ledger. It's an electronic, let's say, a computer somewhere in the cloud where we're gonna write down these transactions. So this record of me selling this land, we're gonna call it a block. Somebody else buys a car, they're gonna write down this transaction. So it's another block, okay, in the chain to make it easy. So the transaction we did has a timestamp, has an index, etc. It happened today, June 17 at 12 a.m., etc., etc. And the only one who can edit the block actually is the one who owns it through a private key. Let's call it a code. But this is so technical. Don't be, let's say, confused. Focus on the scenarios, and we're gonna discuss the technical aspects later on. So in this way, all of these blocks together, so one after the other, which are really tight. So it's called the, let's call it a blockchain. Let's just imagine this way. Some other examples, and a lot when we are talking about banks, you know, the corresponding banking, when you send international money to somebody. I want to make a bank transfer of 1,000 euro to somebody in Thailand. So what happens? I make the transaction in my application, or I go to the bank, etc. What happens sometimes? The receiver does not receive the money, so they keep calling me. I keep calling the bank, and well, sometimes they will never receive the money. We all had this situation at least once in our life. So a single bank, why? Because one bank, as you see in the picture, cannot partnership with all of the existing banks in the world. So they deal with other correspondent banks. So we have a lot of banks in the network, and there are a lot of intermediates. So if I ask somebody, where is my money? Nobody can give me the answer because the network is so huge. So errors are common to occur, and it becomes very costly and very slow. Problems of you know, currencies and so on. So this is why I wanted to introduce the concept of distributed ledger. So if all of these banks in the network, or let's say all of the banks in the world, are connected to one shared ledger. So let's imagine a file, ledger, a text file, whatever. Of course, always in the cloud because it's going to be distributed and shared. So the sending bank can connect directly to the receiving banks instead of going through 1,000 intermediate banks. So the money will get there much faster, seconds instead of days or weeks, right? And so the distributed ledger is open and public. Well, it's secured, and anyone in the blockchain can validate the transaction. So which means that transactions are secured and they are more trustable than something else. So it exists on any node of the network. And well, the goal is, and the message is that it removes the dependency on the bank. So this is the goal of the distributed ledger, and distributed ledgers are not only used in the banks, they are used in the automotive industry and some others. Last scenario before we discuss the technical aspects and see the blockchain applications is something called the smart contracts. I'm sure you have heard about smart contracts. Nowadays, we see a lot in the internet. So I want to give this example. So this band is called the NSYNC. I was a fan of them when I was around 11, 12 years old. So they were famous. What happened with them? The story of NSYNC is that in their first record, they had ended up by suing their manager. The question is why, and what does it have to do with the smart contracts and blockchain? Well, what happened is that they sued the manager because they did not get, let's say, a reasonable amount on money from the revenue their songs created. You can imagine that the manager was taking, let's say, I don't know, 99% and giving them 0.5%, so something like this. If, however, they put their contract in a smart blockchain contract, so where it is shared and trustable, confirmed by everybody, then as a customer buys their music, they're gonna share the revenue directly without going through the complications of the contracts and the manager that who was, let's say, giving them low revenues. So a smart contract is an enforcement of the contract that is executed by the blockchain. So I was just trying actually to give you an overview about, let's say, the application of blockchain in real life. And so before we move to the other topic, I will just show you something here. Let's take a few minutes. So what I want to show here is a quick demo of the blockchain. Do you guys see this blockchain demo.io screen? I'm not sure if it's displaying in your screens.
Yes, we can see it.
Thank you very much. Okay, so
Yes,
the blockchain demo.io, it's a website where you can just, let's say, discover some a demo actually of blockchain where you can play with it and feel what's the blockchain. So here, what we can see is, let's call this, this is a block actually. So a block, and the blockchain has a list of blocks. We're gonna create many blocks. So the first block is this one, and it starts with a single block called the Genesis block. So we're gonna find out that there are many terminologies in the blockchain world. So don't worry, don't be scared with all of these definitions, okay? So each block is storing the following information. So there is some data here. There is a timestamp with the date, time, and so on. There is what we call the hash in green with some numbers, the nonce, which is this 1604, etc. Well, the index, so here is the position of the block in the blockchain. Okay, so here it's 0 because it's the first block of the blockchain. So the Genesis block in the blockchain has the index of 0, which means it's the beginning of the chain. Okay. So the timestamp here is just to record what happened. So if we do something here, it's gonna be Tuesday. Well, this one is old, but because we just for a demo purposes. What we need to see here is the hash. So you see this strange thing. It's a string, a long string, right? It is called the hash. So the hash looks like a bunch of random numbers mixed with, it's alphanumeric actually. And well, it identifies the data or the digital fingerprint of the data. It's like, let's say, a public signature, if you want, that everybody can see and validate, confirm, etc. So I'm not gonna go into these details. The properties of the hash are important because, well, it has a fixed length, and the same data always maps to the same hash. So here, if I have welcome to blockchain demo 2.0 with this way, so I'm gonna have the same hash. However, I can go from the data to the hash, but if I have a hash, I can never figure out what was the data. That's what I wanted to point out. And a small change actually in the data leads to a large change in the hash. So if I add just a point here, so it's gonna change the hash, right? If I remove it, then the hash becomes green again. So as the initial, let's say, status. So a valid hash for a blockchain is a hash that meets certain requirements. So in here, as you can see, it starts with 3 zeros. So in our blockchain, a valid hash needs to start with 3 zeros. And then there is the rest of characters. So the number of leading zeros is, let's say, required to define the difficulty of the hash. Then the hashing function is going to take the data, do some calculations, some algorithm with some computers to, in order to, retrieve and figure out what is the hash. The hash is a combination of all of these, let's say, alphanumeric characters. Well, we can add a new block actually. So when I add a new block here, as you can see, I have block number 1. And the previous hash is the one which was here actually. So because a chain is a chain, you know. Something else is the nonce. So this one, you know, this number 604, this is called the nonce, and it's the number used to find a valid hash. So to find a valid hash, so you hear about mining, computers are mining in order to mine the blockchain. So we need to find a nonce, a number, this 604, and here it's 4277, etc., etc. So to produce a valid hash, we need to use it with the rest of information like the index, etc., etc. So here, that's how it works. And the process of determining this nonce is called the mining. So you heard about mining, computers consuming a lot of data and electricity. Well, let's just see something quickly because we are really tight in schedule. So if something is changed, so I put 45, then the hash is not valid anymore, right? So the data has been altered, let's say, and the new hash will not have, you know, these 3 leading zeros, right? See here 47D. So we need to mine again. So here a new ounce, and then it's a new hash, and then the other people, the other peers in the other blocks need to mine in order to verify and confirm the blockchain transactions. So this is how it works. Then we have the peers, so we can add peers like other people, so we can share the blockchain in the network. So this is more or less some basics of the blockchain. So I really invite you to play with it. So it's blockchain demo.io. All right, so I'm gonna stop at this stage and hand over to our friend Courtney from BRQ Digital Solutions from Brazil. Courtney, do you need to share anything? Right, awesome. So we can see your screen, perfect.
Now I can see my screen, okay?
Thank you.
And you can hear perfectly. So first of all, I'm an old guy. This is the first technology I started using in the 80s. So fast forward, we started lots of metamorphoses. And since I have a very short time, just to keep remaining, that blockchain is just one block in the wall. So we have lots of them. And this is my actual life today. So as you can see, we are dealing with lots of complexity, moving parts, and new, interesting, and better concepts, as you can check by the mess of my own desk. So our emerging future is always, and this is Frank's Diana work, is always touched by several new technologies. And we get used to talk about internet, social, mobile, and our beloved blockchain. But right now we have lots of more technologies. We have 2,000 different technologies evolving right now. We can deal with that, so we create scenarios like smart homes, smart cars, connected health, and everything. And we still deal with lots of human problems like fake news, the subject of the last weeks. But this is our future, and this is the scenario any business needs to deal right now. So we live in the age of amplitude. As I can say, we can do anything, including a new pandemic, in the age of science. So basically, our building blocks for doing anything, and I'm just picking up one simple example like health life extension. We can use our digital foundation, we can have several different, as I can say, disruptive technologies, several visions, and build something in terms of a system. And this is our life since ever in computer science and system development, and specifically like packages like SAP. So basically, we were together until we have a new zeitgeist and a crisis like no other before, my generation at least. So the crisis is, we picked up of a whole complex world with lots of different scenarios that keep evolving for the last kind of 5,000 years. And this is a very teeny area where we can see all the kinds of human beings we're living. And generally, all these guys were going collapsing, and we were compressed by a virus. So basically, we need to live as just one entire humanity in one entire planet, in just one entire situation, crisis, an enemy, the virus. So basically, this pressed our kind of a generation in a great reset. And what we are seeing this great reset, first of all, we need to shape an economic recovery. And we're not talking about kind of a just economic crisis. We need to reskill everyone. We need to reshape lots of commercial and industrial relations. And basically, we need to strengthen the regional development, despite we still keep on going global. All this is because COVID has some implications. And all these implications, as I said, is in all the aspects we have in our daily lives. So basically, we're working in kind of uncomfortable spaces instead of in the large rooms and everything. We need to have renewable energy very fast and lots of other issues, but different in the other crises. And I would like to point that in the last time we faced something like that with just 2 billion people, and only 30% were able of read. So today we are 7.5 billion, 8 for some accounts, but 80% of everyone can read or can work on the crisis. So we are connected as never. And now we are literally an entire generation of human beings in just one planet. This is amazing because we can work on fast responses. And this is the impact small and medium business must have. Because SMBs are the swarm around all those responses. So when we need to talk about, for instance, we need to digital learn everything, and we can accelerate that because we have the technology and we have the accreditation and we have the controls for doing that, and most of that we have the content for doing that. Also, we need to trade our efficiency for resilience. We need to trust in disparate places globally, but we need to trust in local places. And besides of that, since everyone is working remote, logistics and supply chain are more important than ever. So basically, what we are doing to do, we have a faster pace of change in technology, in our comprehension of the technology, and coronavirus is, by some positive way, bringing us to what we call the digital gap reduction. So we're adopting lots of new technologies and new concepts and new ideas faster than ever. So we are in a new game. And what is blockchain in this new game? We have an underground piece of stuff that we never take care of. One of them is our networks, meaning communication, but above the networks, we never care about trust or guarantees, and this is blockchain. For the last 10 years, all these technologies in all flavors and generations are evolving, and now they're mature enough so we can build disparate things. And this is a very kind of a resumed stack, or what we call Web3 or Web of Trust or blockchain as a wish. So we have lots of networks and different networks like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Hyperledger, the private networks, the public networks, the semi-private networks, and everything is on the cloud. So the end users of the business can guarantee that everything below them is integrated in the single layer and all interoperably. More than that, we have infrastructure players. We have kind of different kind of companies investing on that. And since last year, we have much more and more investment from VCs on the aspects again. We are building this super infrastructure, and we are not talking only about one piece of technology. You can't read anything, but it's a public graphic on the internet. So we have lots of different players running the company. And more than that, we have a huge country, a continental size country, building his own infrastructure. And I mean, own is all the basic aspects of a citizenship lifestyle, including currency, certificates, IDs, and everything under blockchain. So it's 500 companies, more than 100 different technology companies, and lots of money involved on that. So basically, we just see blockchain today on the financial service aspect. So this week in Brazil, Mark Zuckerberg just announced that WeChat is accepting, WhatsApp is accepting payments. I was just talking with WeChat guys 2 hours before, and accepting payments here using digital banks and credit cards companies and everything. But basically, China also is working on this central bank digital currency, and the Bundesbank just announced it this yesterday that they are working on that also. And also Canadian banks and also United States. So we are going to digitalize our currency, which is going to be much more interesting for the companies to digitalize everything. So basically, when we're talking about a currency war, is just the tip of iceberg. Below the iceberg, we have infrastructure, not war, but a huge building of everything that is going to streamline lots of very expensive process now for SMBs, like exportation, like sending goods abroad, or having guaranteed goods from this local presence to abroad, or even in this real presence and real region. One interesting thing about China, for instance, is since the breakdown or the lockdowns, they're trying to buy things not from the near local stores, but from the big distant stores, because a security issue. So they're kind of afraid of the quality of goods, the health of goods, and that's where blockchain can help the SMBs. So creating this new value proposition around trust in your small business is never so easy. We have, I was a former SAP employee also, so we have SAP Business One teams around, so we can provide solutions for that. And SAP is one of the signatories and one of the first signatories of Hyperledger, which is one of the biggest consortium of blockchain technology. So all the SAP products are integrated in Leonardo style of stuff to work on that. So we can build new business models, not only for the local, but for kind of abroad and exportation, until we can have new service and new financial models. This is an amazing time for SMBs because you have the tools. You just need to have the guts and the will to do different and very interesting things. And if you don't do that, that's a very good, interesting aspect. It's a new city. Tencent guys are building around Shenzhen. So what is this? It's a smart city. Is what Japan is calling Society 5.0, and it's entirely with the whole new technology set, including on that, including all the blockchain stuff. So if no one does that in the world, China is going to do. So basically, move fast, or you're going to start learning Mandarin, guys. That was my first message. Thank you very much for the time, and I hope we can come back in the conversations.
Thank you very much, Courtney. Really, you got the newest information for us, so COVID and the WhatsApp payments and so on. So really thank you very much, and sorry for pushing you to start your day with at 8 a.m. with our webinar.
Oh, no, don't worry. My day started 3 a.m. here in Brazil because we're having a meeting in the European Parliament about the standardizations of blockchain. So I'm online since 3 a.m.
All right, it's a real pleasure. All right. Okay, so now I will hand over to our friend Jean-Marie Delon from Cargill. So Jean-Marie, do you hear us?
Yes, I do. Let me try to share my screen also. Your entire screen. Yes, please. Okay.
It's there.
Let me go in full screen. Voilà, c'est bon. Okay. Thank you, Walid. Hello, everyone. My name is Jean-Marie Delon. I am the Sustainability Program Manager for Cargill, Cargill West Africa, and I am covering Ivory Coast, Ghana, and Cameroon. So in the interest of time, I will quickly move into explaining what could be our interest for the blockchain technology. And I will start by a quick snapshot on the Ivory Coast supply chain. We are the second or first biggest buyer of cocoa in Ivory Coast and also throughout the world. And our network in Ivory Coast is made out of 128 cooperatives. On a yearly basis, we have a direct relationship and direct interaction with over 100,000 farmers who are members of our partner cooperatives and who supply this cocoa to us. Last year, we bought close to 300,000 metric tons of cocoa in Ivory Coast. You see also that I mentioned the fact that we today have close to 100,000 farms which are GPS localized. And I invite you to understand that in the world of today, this is a request from the customers to ensure the consumer confidence, because more and more consumers, in line with what has been explained by the previous colleague, consumer confidence. By consumer confidence, the consumers are requesting to have much more detailed information on where their product comes from. They also want to know where it comes from. They also want to be sure that it corresponds to social norms, environmental norms that are not harming the earth. So based on that, we as Cargill have taken the commitment to ensure consumer confidence by helping consumers around the world to confidently choose sustainable cocoa and chocolate products. And our goal by 2030 is to be able to ensure 100% of traceability of our beans from farmer to factory. So in Ivory Coast, we invented what we call the crop management system, which is the tool through which we are deploying this ambition of traceability. Our ambition is to be able to buy traceable cocoa from a producer whose exploitation is mapped and registered in our database. And we want to be paying this farmer with a digital and secure means. So this took us to do the farm mapping of all the farmers which are involved in our supply chain. And as I indicated, as of today, we have a database in which we have all the informations related to 100,000 farmers. We have the GPS positions of their farms, and we have deployed a system, an application that enables us to track the cocoa that we buy from those farmers. So throughout the system that we are deploying, which is called the crop management system, the bags that we buy in the farms are equipped with a barcode, and this barcode will be constantly remaining on the bags, and when they will be traveling throughout the supply chain and throughout the supply chain in the cooperatives network. And we finally receive at our warehouses, we finally receive those bags of cocoa, and at any moment we are able to track down all the informations related to where this cocoa comes from. This is a very important information available, and we are now making it, we are now sharing it in a position to share it with our customers. So this is what it enables us to do from a customer point of view. But with the technology, we believe that we are able to connect the farmers to a bigger world of opportunity. And indeed, as you may know, Ivorian farmers and cocoa farmers in West Africa are lacking access to financial services. So through the digital application that we have been developing, we have been exploring ways for us to use this application to connect those farmers to the banking sector. So I don't have too much time to go into the details, but what I want you to retain is that through the crop management system, we have created an application that enables the different cooperatives to follow up and track down the loans that they make to the farmers. Because again, in Ivory Coast, take into consideration the fact that those cooperatives do not have access to banks. Very few farmers have access to banks, and hence the farmer organization who are supposed to be buying the cocoa from the farmers end up by being the bank, end up by playing the role of the bank for the farmers. It is through the farmer organizations that the farmers get loans, for instance, for school fees, for instance, for hospital fees. And through the CMS application loan, we tried to make sure that the cooperative would be able to follow up all the information related to the loans, link it to the delivery made by the farmers so that they would be able to make those loans in a secured way. And this paves the way for increased access to finance because through the fact that we have been able to provide much more visibility on the reimbursement rate of the farmers and put it into perspective with their delivery performance, we have been able to create an environment whereby today, as through the pilot that we realized last year, over 300,000 euros were allocated to farmers in a safe and secured way by those by the 13 cooperatives that were involved in this project. So as you see, this is a small pilot that we've been developing, and through through an harmonized circulation of the rightful information between the farmers, between our system and the cooperatives, we've been able to secure access to financing for over 300,000 euros. So very quickly, I will end up by saying that I am here taking part to this call because this is what we are developing for the cocoa sector. We hear lots of noises about the blockchain, but we have not today concretely figured out what could be the application, the use of the blockchain in the cocoa sector. The first impressions that we have is that it can support the access to a viable source of information for the farmers, and it can allow us to connect our farmers to the customers. But as I said, that's for the moment it's only vague in my mind. We are working with few colleagues on how to shape the future of the cocoa, and it's in this ambition that we are taking part to the blockchain to this blockchain workshop, sorry, to hear and discover possibilities to be implemented in the cocoa sector. So I hope that I didn't confuse you too much, and I'm looking forward to discover some possibilities to be explored in the cocoa sector.
Thanks, Jean-Marie. A really insightful presentation because it changes from what we were used to about blockchain equals financials and so on. And it's really great to see what Cargill is doing to help the farmers community and so on. I think you're gonna see some interesting cases now and later on. There will be a couple of them. So let's move to the, let's say, the concrete solutions. So now we can, I would like to ask to Mukhtar Ben Ali from CM Consulting, Algeria. If you could share your screen with us and give us an overview about your solution, if you can show us any aspect of it. What does it do and how does it work quickly?
Hi, Walid.
Hi.
Thank you.
The sound is breaking.
Walid,
So
can you hear me?
yes, now we do hear you. I think if you could maybe deactivate the camera, maybe because it looks like the network is slow at your side. So
okay, let's yes, our solution to participate to the hackathon held in Palma last February. So it was, let's say,
Hello. Mukhtar, we don't hear you. I think he's gone.
Walid?
Yes, are you there?
Hi, Walid.
Yes, seems like you have some.
Sorry, I have some. I am switching between two connections, and I had problem. Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay, I was maybe I repeat. In fact, as I said, we developed a batch tracker application using blockchain. In fact, we discussed with our customers, and we found this case use with the ABC Pepsi. ABC Pepsi is Atlas Bottling Corporation, which is exclusive bottler of Pepsi products in Algeria. And the idea is that Pepsi here in Algeria wants or aims to, let's say, clean up his network distributors, because they are not in a good position or a good rank of competitors. So, and the market is disturbed. In fact, there is some distributor who are not affected to this region. They are selling their products out of their region. So we found out that the blockchain could be a good use case. So we collect the batch number at the delivery stage, and we put this on the blockchain, and then later we can track. Hello?
Yes, we hear you.
I don't know where I stopped. Can you tell me, Walid, what you missed maybe?
We hear you. We said that you put the batch numbers in the blockchain.
Okay, and then we are able
Mukhtar, are you sharing anything in your screen or not?
No, not yet. I will share right now. I will share right now. Yeah, I will share right now.
Okay.
Maybe it will be gonna better because blockchain. Let's say, yes, I will start the video records. So now you can see the SAP Business One, the SAP Business One screen. Have here
Mokhtar, we barely can hear you.
Mukhtar, the voice is breaking. We don't really catch any of your messages.
This is user
All right. So, we will switch.
Yes, this one will be
Mukhtar, you hear me?
Later on and put on the blockchain. Here we are. Here.
All right, cool.
Hi.
So let's move to the second one. Then Mukhtar will come back later. So Eduardo, are you ready to share?
Hi everyone. Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, great. So
let's see. Hi, can you see me? Yes.
Yes, we do.
So let's share my screen. see the presentation?
Yes, it's there.
Hi, everyone. My name is Edoardo Bonizzoni. I'm the technical lead at Business Innovation Team. Our goal as a company is to offer the opportunity to European SMEs, but also around the world, to use effectively SAP solution in a simple and convenient way. And we do that by leveraging SAP best practices as well as accelerators we created as DigiBit, Bit Digital Division. Since last year, we bootstrapped this digital division. We certify an SAP qualified partner package solution about many aspects in the SAP Leonardo portfolio, and I'm going to present you this solution today. We cover many of these points in the SAP Leonardo portfolio, such as IoT, blockchain, and machine learning. Our package solution covers an end-to-end process to manage and optimize asset maintenance from the field to the user through the digital core, based on the acquisition of IoT sensor data. The solution addresses two business needs. The first is asset management through a systematic approach focused on governance and value creation of the asset along the life cycle. And the second is asset servitization. So by helping managing the product as a service sales paradigm, as well as the connected services which are enabled by IoT data. The use of blockchain technology in this scenario is exceptionally important in order to provide a source of trust upon the shared data among all the parties involved in this added value stream. So we have the manufacturer, the customer, and also the service provider. Here we can see that there is on the left side the Internet of Things, which in our demo is going to be a 3D printer, but it can actually be any asset we want to keep track. And the data collected from the asset are monitored in real time through a control tower. And we can also track every relevant events, which are also stored in the blockchain. When an event occurs, a service order is automatically created in our digital core, which is SAP Business by design, but we are flexible. We can implement any digital core as needed. And at the same time, a push notification is received by the technician on our iOS app, an iOS app we developed. The technician has all the available information about the asset, which need maintenance, which it needs for the maintenance. And we give him the possibility to use augmented reality to guide him through the process of the maintenance the machine needs. All the action performed during this maintenance process are visualized and stored centrally, and are stored centrally and visualized in the control tower, but also onto the blockchain in order to, once again, to maintain trust between all parties. At the end of the maintenance, the activity of the maintenance activity, the service order in SAP by design is automatically closed via the technician mobile app. All the data ingested at the end are analyzed, are used in SAP Analytics Cloud to get insights on historical trends by using specific algorithms. So about this, I can share with you a live demo, which is unfortunately not very live, but is a record video on top of which I'm going to comment. So here we have, this is the control tower. So here we can see different sensors. So we have temperature, humidity, energy, which are in Italian, of course. And at the center, we have humidity, and we can see a rising in humidity. Right now, we received the event that, go back a second, this is a bit too fast. So we received an event about the humidity raising above 50%. And so the control tower has the this information, but also the technician receive in the iOS app the same notification. The technician can use this notification to open the app, which he uses to recognize our machine with augmented reality, and we use our tag with 2D recognition to gain to recognize this machine, but we can use QR code and any kind of 2D object recognition. So here we have a list, a basic checklist of everything the technician needs to do. This is customizable. At the end, we need to stop if the print is in progress, and we need to wait for the head to stop moving, and then we can perform the face recognition on the machine. So we implemented, we use the algorithm. So here we can see at the top we have a small computer with a camera that will recognize the technician, and at the bottom we can see a very secure lock with a servo motor. So the machine uses face recognition to recognize the technician, and the lock opens. So we can manage every aspect of the security on the machine. The technician opened the door and proceed with the second step of the augmented reality on the machine. So the problem was humidity. So the technician goes to the source of the failure, and then the machine can tell the technician through the app what to do with as next steps. So, and there is also a 3D visualization of what the problem might be. Through the app, the technician can also go to the user manual, okay, and see all the information that he might need, always updated to the latest version. After this, the technician leaves the machine, so he closes the door and the locks automatically closes. And the application recognizes the door has closed, and it asks him if the maintenance is ended. So from here, the technician can close the service order on the digital core. And here we can see back to the control tower that we have a few more events, which is the recognition of the technician, door open and door closed. So we can record every event that occur on the machine. From the control tower, we can go directly to the blockchain stream, which records the metadata of every event which has occurred. Of course, we can also go to the SAP Business by Design cockpit and see the service order, which was opened upon automatically by the system when there was an event. And this is pretty much our scenario. And yeah, valid. Was it too fast? Sorry, I can hear.
Yeah, I was on mute and your voice was breaking. So yeah, thanks for the showing us the solution. So I think it's something 360 because it has some IoT, some 3D printings and so on. And the blockchain aspect is there to record the service tracking and so on. So I understood it's a solution with SAP by design, but it could work with any other solution.
Yeah. We created the solution to be modular. So we enforce the use of blockchain because it can help every part of the in this transaction. Because for example, I sell the machine, okay, and one thing I can do is I don't want to sell the machine, but I want to sell how many hours the machine is working. So the blockchain can store the information of the usage, and everybody can be safe that I'm not screwing you over, and it's not going to be an issue, the counting of the time the machine is operating. And also on the client side, there is a tempered prevention because of this counting.
All right, very interesting. Thank you very much. So now I will hand over to Dr. Ralph Moog from Germany, special guests. Thank you for—
Hello, everybody.
Hello. I have put you as a co-host, so you can share your screen with us.
So you see my screen?
Not yet. Eduardo, okay, it's loading. It's loading. Yeah, we see it.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Walid, for giving us the opportunity to show our solution. What are we doing? We simply connect products and consumers in both directions. When I'm talking about products, I'm talking about fast-moving consumer goods. This could be food, it could be non-food products like apparel. And in this case, I'm just talking about food in order to make it a little bit more simple. Just let us move in there. If we So if we talk about food, consumers are demanding today transparency. Jean-Marie told us a little bit about this before. They are looking for ethic values like sustainability, animal welfare, things like this. And on the other side, brand marketeers or brand manufacturers, they are seeking a new communication channel to their end consumers. So there are large target groups of consumers that are not reachable anymore by traditional marketing. So they are seeking a certain new digital channel to communicate with them. This is more or less what our solution is about. We're talking about the holistic supply chain. Jean-Marie had done a nice presentation before about the first part of the supply chain. I'm talking about the whole supply chain. And if you're looking at the whole supply chain, there are basically two aspects we are looking for or we are handling. One of which is the genealogy of a product. What is the genealogy of a product? The genealogy of a product is just the way a product went from the very beginning to the very end, from the pre-suppliers to the consumers. What stages did it do? What has been the processing, or when has it been processed? When had it been handed over from one supplier to the other? When did the consumer buy the product or consume the product? So these are all events, and altogether they're called, we call it genealogy of a product. So we trace the whole genealogy, and this is why we are using blockchain. Makes sense. The second major aspect is the metadata along the whole supply chain. And there's a lot of sources available where we get some information from. One of the main sources of information or metadata are the core ERP systems of the brand manufacturer. But we are also talking about industrial IoT sensors, for example. We're talking about biosensors for cows, for example, to monitor animal welfare, things like this. You can think about manual input if you're at remote farms where no computer access is available. Or you get some information from production equipment, transportation equipment, and things like this. And altogether, by capturing all this data, we talk about, we call this a digital twin. What is a digital twin and what is it needed for? So the digital twin is, let me say, a mirror of the real world product. It's a digital record of the real world product. It describes the full product and the full provenance of the product, the genealogy of the product, what happened to it and what goes to it. So why do we need that? So we have basically two major areas of applications which are based on the digital twin as a data source or data foundation. One of which is the interconnected supply chain. Come to this a little bit later. And the other one is digital marketing channel, which we call the Brand UX digital marketing channel. And in the upper right corner, you see this logo that shows that we talk about two different spheres, one of which is the supply chain, the other one is the experience management. And what our solution does is that we combine those together. Come to this later as well. So what you see here is part of the marketing solution. This is our Brand UX consumer app. So basically, the consumer app gets used from the consumer at the most important points of a normal customer journey, at the point of purchase or at the point of consumption. So it's very important for whether I buy a product or not, and whether how do I experience a product. So, and it's divided in two major parts. The upper part we call info track. The info track shows to the consumer the whole journey of the product. So the whole genealogy, what happened to the product, how have animals been treated, how has the product been treated, have the farmers been paid fair, and things like this. And the lower part, so this is all dynamic data. So this data always refers to the product which the consumer has in front of himself. And then you have in the lower part the digital marketing toolbox. So this is the playground of the marketing people. So they can deploy their loyalty program, they can do upselling, cross-selling things and whatever. And they get all the data from the consumer back, which is very important for their digital marketing strategy and their digital marketing operations. At the back end, or not back end, at the supply chain part, we can think about many applications regarding demand planning, product development, things, and so on. And you might have heard of you sure did, of the notion of the intelligent enterprise. So this is what we had in mind when we designed this solution, that we connect the experience management area with the operational excellence or operational management sphere. And this is what it's all about with our solution. If you look at the architecture, it's a little bit complicated, but some points on this. As a digital core, we are looking at first of all at SAP Business by Design or SAP Business One, but as in the other cases as well, we also can connect to S4 or whatever, and then we connect to different SAP solution. You see SAP Qualtrics, you see the C4 suite and things like this. We are working with the SAP development department to connect our solution to the SAP Logistics Business Network and to connect it to the SAP Material Traceability blockchain. So this is what we are all working on, and you see it's pretty much embedded into the SAP environment or into the SAP world. I have one moment. How do I start this one? I have the demo. This is a demo of the product. I'm trying to accelerate the demo because it's 6 minutes, but I don't find the right. No, I don't find it. So what you see here is that at the back end, no, I can't. Sorry, so we have to go probably to go through this. So what you see here is the different applications at the back end. You see the genealogy of the product here, how it gets assembled, what has been delivered to assemble one product lot, and on the right hand side here you see how it got distributed, and this is the serialized end product, you see. And what you can see here, for example, there's a recall button. If you have to recall certain products out of this production lot, you can recall them, so the end consumer can see whether this product has been recalled or not. So these are different applications or different features of the solution. So I would like to accelerate this, but I don't see. Okay, so okay, so let's get a little bit quicker. So this is the analytics part of it. No, this is the product designer. This is a backend which the marketing department can use to assemble their end consumer app for each product, for each brand, and work on each USP they have on the product. They can assemble their info track. They can deploy their digital marketing tools on this app, so that at the end of the day, for each and every product, you have a customized app, and this is a self-service platform. So this can be used by the marketing guys in the marketing department. Let's go a little bit further to see what else. So this is the analytics part of it. So we collect a lot of analytics stuff from the market, from the end consumer. When has it been scanned? How did the end consumer work with the application? What was interesting to him? What are the consumer target groups and things like this? So this is the end consumer application, as mentioned before. So sorry, it's in German, but so this is the info track where we. 1 second. So okay, so this is the info track where the consumer can see detailed information about the product which he has in front of him. This is dynamic data. This is true to this particular product. If you take the next package from the shelf, it might be different because it has been a different logistics or whatever. So this is a different story each time they use the application. So let's go a little bit further. So in the lower part, you see the digital marketing toolbox where the marketing people can deploy their stuff. And at the end, here we have you have deployed a survey. A survey you see down here, powered by Qualtrics. This is a Qualtrics survey which we have connected to the application, and with this solution, we collect valuable data for the marketing department, for the marketing people. So this is more or less the demo. Okay, so yeah, so that was the. Yeah, so that was my presentation. One thing I would like to point out, so this solution has been awarded by SAP solution for the intelligent enterprise. And we are pretty proud that this solution has been the first solution in Europe that has been awarded with this badge. And yeah, so this is in a brief overview what our solution does. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ralph. So yeah, I think it's again, it's 360 solution because you know, some of us have learned today what's a digital twin, so it was really insightful to us. And in my humble opinion, I'm not a blockchain expert, but I think that in most of the cases, blockchain is gonna need some IoT somewhere. Maybe not in the financial services, but in let's say in the food industry or in the agriculture. You're gonna need to capture some data somewhere. That's why you're gonna need to combine all of these technologies to make the blockchain work properly. So really interesting. Thank you very much. Mokhtar, would you like to try again and see if your network is gonna be friendly with us now? Hello.
Hello, Walid. Yes, I will try again. Yeah.
Try again without the webcam and see.
Yes. Let's say we'll share my screen. Okay. Can you see my screen right now? Can you see my screen?
It's loading. Should be there. Yes, I see it now. You can go ahead.
Okay, as I said before, this application still yet in the laboratory. It was built for one of our customers, who is ABC Pepsi Atlas Bottling Corporation, who is the bottler, the exclusive bottler of Pepsi products in Algeria. And let's say the use case is, in fact, the market is really disturbed. The distributors network is not so clean because normally each one has to be, let's say, to sell only in the authorized territory. And at the end, Pepsi see that let's say the volume of sales is not increasing because of those bad practice in the ground. So we discussed and we found that maybe, as you said, combining, let's say, image recognition with blockchain, maybe it will be track the batch numbers and we can, let's say, let's clean the market. So we have to collect the batch number from the factory when the bottles are packed, because there is an industrial printer who prints the batch numbers on the bottles. So and then those bottles are delivered, of course, to the distributors. We have to, let's say, to capture these batch numbers at the sales delivery level and put this on the blockchain. So later on, any distributors with his mobile app will be able to control, if you can say that, they control because they are doing some visit of the end customers. Every shop's spread in the whole territory, and then he's able to, using this image recognition of his mobile phone or tab, he collect this batch number and then compare if it's, let's say, distributed by us or coming from otherwhere. So this is the use case. In terms of architectures, we combine, as I said, image recognition, blockchain, and using our backend, which is for the moment SAP Business One, as ABC, PIPC use already SAP Business One as its central information system. So this is all. Let's try to launch our application. As I said, it's still in development. So let's say yes, batch. We call it batch tracker. So I will start the video because it's just a record. Here, as you saw, we log into SAP Business One. In the sales delivery, there is a user-defined field. He's for the upload of batch numbers that we collect and we put in into the blockchain. So here is our scripts, local blockchain. So it's we used for our case Ganache, which is open source blockchain. As I said, it's just only still on the laboratory, are not deployed yet. I think it was uploaded at 5 p.m. Yes. And here you can see that the batch number is already logged, and our balance of 3 Ethereum was, let's say, minimized or reduced by because it's an account that we used. Okay. Here is importing. Yes. He's uploading the batch numbers. As he said, batch were uploaded successfully to the blockchain. You can see the message below screen. And now we have to refresh SAP Business One, and this user-defined field, now it's the value it's yes. So later on, when this program will start in the second time, all this yes will be ignored. So here we are trying to let's say to look for this batch number, if to verify its origin and where it comes from. So here it's product, its name, batch number, manufactured where, and delivered to customer. So here any distributor will be able to let's say to verify and at the end they will together clean the market and allow ABC to increase its business and bring more competition in the market and try to develop the business. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you, Mukhtar.
Yes, as I said, Walid, it's just in the laboratory till now. So we are still working on it. Let's say in terms of packaging of the solutions, the analytics part also, because we have some reports that we have to build out and so on.
All
Thank
right.
you very much.
Thank you, Mukhtar. A good example, even if it's still on prototyping and laboratory mode, because this way you have shown to the others that we can use open source blockchain. So you can build something, see how it works, get yourself used to it, show to your customers the value if they like it or not. Then later on, you're gonna build on other types of blockchains. So just to summarize your case, and if I understand it well, this is for ABC Pepsi, which is Pepsi Cola in Algeria. So if I understand well, the output of all of this is that if somebody wants to check a product, I'm gonna scan it, or with some image recognition, is gonna check in the blockchain and tell me if this product is supposed to be sold in this area, right? That's the
yes, exactly. This is the purpose.
okay, cool. Thank you very much. Good, good. All right. So we still have a couple of minutes before we end our webinar. So. Courtney, are you still here?
Yes, I was just in mute, looking to two different monitors, but I'm here.
Yeah.
Besides having TDH,
right.
we have several of different events in the same time.
That's great. So yeah, I just wanted you to just give us a closing word. If you can, I mean, do you think that small businesses could take advantage from blockchain in general, or it is only for this biggest financial services and so on? So,
No. I think SMBs has more advantage with blockchain than bigger companies, because blockchain is a network game. So it's all about cooperation, all about cooperatives. And from my friend Jean-Marie Delon, I also have a cocoa farm here in Brazil. But basically, if I need to pick up one example, is one of my friends. We kind of grandsons of cocoa farmers, so we're the third generations. And he had faced lots of competition from some guys from Ivory Coast, by the way. But he decided to industrialize cocoa here in Brazil and export not the cocoa, but chocolate in itself. And he discovered that no one knows about Brazilian cocoa quality, because Ivory Coast is much better and has much more tradition. So if you picked up some IoT devices like people from Writing Code are doing in Australia, and this is one of the several equipments, I'm just talking because I know the company, we can put chips on the bean bags and track the bean bags and all the production cycles, since we dry it on the sun, which is a better way. We raise from kind of ancestor trees, because we have different kinds of cocoa trees. And we manufacture the product in a very special way. And then we produce the best quality chocolate. This chocolate has a tracking. And since you have the tags or the hashing of the photographs and everything, you can track that. It makes a lot of advantage for the small farmers. And if all these small farmers get together in a cooperative, they have much more kind of reliance on that. On the other hand, I am a cocoa producer, a chocolate producer, a small chocolate producer here in Brazil, trying to bet the Dutch and the Belgian guys who made the best chocolate in the world. What can I do to export this best chocolate down here to Europe, for instance, where no one knows me? I have the same reliability on the product. And again, why blockchain is important? Because it's now embedded on big platforms. So when you see SAP embedding this kind of technology under their own package, their own products, you're not talking about the technology anymore. You're talking about business, and real business. And embedded on that, you have this new layer of guarantee and trust. So as Jean-Marie Delon, everything on food supply chain can be tracked using blockchain technology, IoT, which is cheap now, and that's the tricky part. You need to have a strong and reliable repository of business rules. And that's why SAP and other players that are together on Hyperledger Consortium enter. So now the adoption is much more cheaper than kind of 2-3 years ago.
Great examples, small businesses. So Jean-Marie, are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
So,
Yes, I am. I am listening. I think indeed. I think indeed. Sorry, if video is in. Yeah. So I was particularly impressed by the last presentation. It corresponds to what I had been, if I may say, dreaming about for a few time. I think I am. It makes me more and more convinced that this is definitely something that will pop up in our future, because it was exactly with this first ambition that we started digitalizing the cocoa industry. At the beginning, it was a dream, and today it is a reality. So I really see some opportunities, and I am very happy to have been able to take part to this call, and I will make sure to share the presentations with our IT team, whom I am pushing to develop this type of things. So I come up with crazy ideas, and the IT guys are in charge of making it a reality. So this is definitely a new ambition that we will have.
that's great. Good to hear your feedback on this. So, thank you to all of you. So, the speakers, thanks for sharing with us your insights, your solutions, and so on. Thank you to all the participants. So, I think it's time to end up the webinar here. So, if anybody has any questions or any doubts, you can reach out to me, and I can coordinate whatever you need related to blockchain. Thank you very much. Have a nice day all. Bye-bye.
Nice
Thank
day.
you very much, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.